Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Elephant Exposed. I am your host, Mr. TNTBS, CJ Jones, and I'm going to be reacting to a very sensitive video today that was sent to me by one of our viewers. Um, and some questions was asked. And one of those questions was, Mr. TNTBS, was this a justified shooting? Um, or why did this person get shot? So this is a warning right now to anybody that is sensitive um, to um, shootings and different things like that, violence of any kind. This is your time to go ahead and either skip forward a little bit in the video when I go back to commentating or whatever you got to do. Um, but nevertheless, this is what Elephant Exposed is about. And just stick with me. I'm going to adjust my screen and stuff a little so we can go ahead and get uh into this. But let me go ahead and set up the situation first. So this reel has been shared. Evidently this shooting took place in the county of LA when a young lady, 27-year-old Black woman, called for her ex-boyfriend to be removed out of her residence. Um, and evidently, according to the sound that we're going to hear, the call that we're going to hear, um, she asked for the sheriffs to show up. We're going to see and hear a lot of things. This is the police body cam that was released, and they did it for transparency, and we appreciate that. Um, and so now that the body cam is released, we can break it down ourselves and react properly. Now, justification of your firearm being used stands on a triangle. And that triangle is called opportunity, capability, and intent. Okay. That's a terrible triangle, but opportunity, capability, and intent. Okay. You got to have all three to make a to make the use of firearms being justified to use. If you can't have one of the three, you can't have two of the three in any combination. Okay. You have to have opportunity, capability, and intent. And that's what we're going to be looking for. So as I'm getting um the video prepared, um yeah, there we go. Hopefully you guys will be able to hear it. I did a video previously and I went through all this commentation and you can hear me very well. For some reason, you just could not hear the video. And so that's on me. That's my fault for the first video. So hopefully I want to make sure that you guys are able to hear the sound. I see that we in the mode of uh, the screen is being shared. I just want to make sure that the sound is there as well. And so let's get back into it. All right. I'm sharing the computer sound. Okay, if you guys are able to hear the sound, um, those are the screams that's the young lady yelling and possibly the baby girl too. Because hear and you're gonna hear um or you will continue to hear the screams and the yelling and so forth. You will see um we don't have any problem with the procedures that they are following and checking out the residents, looking to see what they can see. That's what you want to do. You want to check out the surrounding area first before you announce your presence. And when you make your presence known, you want to make it firmly and loudly known. All that this is textbook um, approach, textbook approach. Okay. Okay. So from what I just picked up, there's at least three people there. You have the female. That's the officer that we're going to say officer one, officer two. That's the cover officer. He was right behind her. And then the shadow that we saw on that pole, that was the another cover officer or the outside officer, and he's checking out where the slide door is to the apartment. So, like we said, perfect on the approaching of the situation. Now, here come the hard part. So again, if you're sensitive, this is the time to go ahead and remove yourself. Okay. Kicking the door, that's fine. Okay. Right there. Okay. Now, unfortunately, by this being a reel, I can't run um hands back, but he's just turning on the light of his firearm right now. So that's what that is. Okay, now we got light. So perfect. Uh Officer one, she tells her, she tells the woman to come out, come out. She backs up, she gives space. Okay. Because again, you don't know what you're walking into. You don't know what's really behind that closed door. You just hear screams and stuff right now. So this is where they see the knife. And this is why initially firearms are drawn out. That's perfectly justified. We're okay with that. Now it starts to get um, more dynamic. Give me the taser. That was the command. Go, go, go. Give me the taser. Now, as you can see, the baby girl is right there in front of them. That's why her face is deducted out of the video. Okay. She's a juvenile, can't show juveniles. Um, okay. Mom took off to the right. Police are, they have no choice at this point in time. They have to follow. So even though he gave the command taser, even at this point, your firearm is still justified, except for now you have to be very mindful not to point your firearm at the juvenile. So I would call it the low ready. Okay. But you can clearly hear him say, give me the taser, go to taser, or whatever that command was. We know and we see taser should is the choice. Okay. So here we go. She switches out. Okay, baby girl is saying he pushed me. She's excited too. Okay. And as you can see, officer one right here, she has to do this very quickly. She's looking at the baby girl, she's looking at the hallway, she's looking to the left, and she's scanning to the right. And the baby girl is actually pointing to where they want for them to look at. Okay, all this is happening in splits of a second. Okay, and you have to be able to assess. this situation. Okay. So this is the part where it gets hard. Here we go. Right there. Okay. Right here, there's that's mama. That's the daughter. That's the guy. Okay. Tasers went down, and now we're back to firearm. This is officer number 2. Right there. This is where I have the problem. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, no, that's the boyfriend. No, no. Then officer 2 goes, drop it. Backwards. Backwards. Opportunity, capability, definitely there. Intent, you didn't give her, there was no chance to really show intent. Let's just say most people would try to argue, okay, the intent was her standing there. Standing near somebody is not necessarily an intent. Now, had she had her arm up in the air, or she was already in the process of trying to stab, cut, slice, arms going back and forth, or arm down, or whatever, there's your intent. But just standing over there, and then you let go, you let loose of your firearm, pop, 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 pop. 1, 2, 3, 4. Drop it, drop it. Officer 2, she herself is dropped. As a matter of fact, when she dropped, she could have fell on the knife. Now you have baby girl over in the far left. Her hands are going to go up towards her head. You don't know if she's covering her mouth, her eyes, her ears, or she's just in dismay. You don't know, but you just shot her mother, who's just asked you for help to remove him and look like in a sitting position over here. Mom is down on the floor bleeding out, dying. And then now they're going to just play it out from their body cams. Okay. I'm done with the reel. I do not want to run that back again. Um, just out of respect of the deceased and the heartbroken family. This was not, from what I saw, this wasn't even like a junior officer. It looked like he had some rank on him. And I just noticed that. I've looked at this reel several times, and I hope that it had sound this time. I did make a previous video to this, so this won't be a carbon copy of what I said before in the first one. I hope this one does have audio. Um, and if it didn't, hopefully I gave enough commentation during the sharing of it to where um maybe it's a good thing that you don't have to hear what I heard. Um, but if you want to, you can find it very easily. As you can see, it was an Instagram reel, and I'm pretty sure on many other platforms, the police cams footage is available. Um, what I have to say from an expert point of view, and it is my observation and my opinion, my professional opinion, that opportunity capability was definitely there. The intent was shaky at best. It was shaky at best. Um, and you shot, not gonna say you, but the 4 shots that was fired from Officer Two firearm was shot or deployed before verbal command was given. And that's where my question or uh my judgment comes in, because just as natural of a reaction for Officer Two, and since I've noticed the rank on his right shoulder, seasoned officer, seasoned officer, it should have been just as natural for him to give the verbal command, drop the weapon, drop the knife, step back, step away, hands up, because you are aware of your surroundings. This is what makes police officers the professionals. You are hyper aware of your surroundings. You know you have a juvenile in your presence. You have an officer that is just to the left side of you, and you have an extra officer behind you. Now, versus what I said before in the original reaction, I was looking at it just them two being there. But on this video, when you get a chance to bird's eye view it, it was at least 3 of you. But you were the only officer. I'm sorry, Officer Two was the only officer that actually released battery, pulled the trigger 4 times. Not even a double tap. And the reason why I say that, well, for all of my firearm gurus out there, you know how police officers train. Double tap. Double tap, assess. Why? Because we are trained not to kill, but to stop the threat. Stop the threat. Double tap, center mass to stop the threat. And you're calling for medical assistance, because the intent is not to take the life, but to stop the threat. Opportunity, capability. The opportunity was there because the young woman presented a knife to the situation. She was capable, clearly, because she was able to walk. And she walked in the direction of the young man. But the intent, standing beside him, in front of him, does not clearly prove or display, or whatever, however you want to say it, intentions on taking his life. Remember, deadly force is only justified as the last resort when all lesser means have failed or could not reasonably be deployed. And its use is justified by the safety of said officer and other officers, and then third parties, others. And I did not see that. The entry was fine. The approach was fine. Let me back up. The approach was fine. Even the entry was fine. The command was not given, and Deputy Sheriff 2 jumped ahead of Deputy Sheriff 1. Now I will say this, like I said it in the original video, is that normally the first officer that's making communication, making contact, that is the officer that is engaging in the actual situation. Officer 2 is the cover officer. Additional officers are doing the same thing as 2. They are making sure the situation itself is clear and clean, so that Officer 1 can do her job. In my professional opinion, Officer 2 reacted before thinking. So I do not think that this was what some people call a clean shoot. I do not think that this shooting is justified. We do know that this family is being represented by an attorney, and they are suing the department for $30 million. But there's no amount of money that's going to replace this young 27-year-old woman's life. Now, another family has been dismantled and destroyed due to a trigger-happy officer, a seasoned trigger-happy officer. Shoot first, give commands later. It doesn't work that way, sir. And you really should know better. And this 9-year-old girl, just like I said in the original video, she will never trust a badge, ever. And can you blame her? But y'all, that's all of my reaction. That's what I have for my professional opinion. Tell me what you guys think. Please leave it in the comments, and we'll catch you next week.